ask you to judge me by the enemies I have mad. James Comey quotes FDR in an indirect response to Trump Twitter rant slamming him as crook cop. James Comey offered an historical quote that appeared to be his response to President Donald Trump's tweet storm calling the former FBI director a total sleaze and a crook cop. "I ask you to judge me by the enemies I have made," Comey tweeted on Saturday, quoting former President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The message made no reference to the president, but came after Trump spent the morning ranting about special counsel Robert Mueller, the FBI, its agents, and a New York Times report that the Bureau was investigating Trump as a possible secret of Russia. Trump fired back in a furious Twitter tirade Saturday after it was reported the FBI opened an investigation to determine whether he was a secret Russian agent in the days after he fired Comey. Trump tweeted on Saturday morning, "Wow, just learned in the failing New York Times that the corrupt former leaders of the FBI, almost all fired or forced to leave the agency for some very bad reasons, opened up an investigation on me, for no reason and with no proof, after I fired James Comey, a total sleaze." He continued, "Funny thing about James Comey. Everybody wanted him fired, Republican and Democrat alike. After the rigged and botched crooked Hillary investigation, where she was interviewed on July 4th weekend, not recorded or sworn in, and where she said she didn't know anything, a lie." Citing unnamed former law enforcement officials, the New York Times reported on Friday that the FBI opened the combined criminal and counterintelligence probe in May of 2017. Trump continued tweeting, "The FBI was in complete turmoil, see New York Post, because of Comey's poor leadership and the way he handled the Clinton mess, not to mention his usurpation of powers from the Justice Department. My firing of James Comey was a great day for America. He was a crooked cop who was being totally protected by his best friend, Bob Mueller, the 13 angry Democrats, leaking machines who have no interest in going after the real collusion, and much more, by crooked Hillary Clinton, her campaign, and the Democratic National Committee. Just watch. I have been far tougher on Russia than Obama, Bush or Clinton. Maybe tougher than any other president. At the same time, as I have often said, getting along with Russia is a good thing, not a bad thing. I fully expect that someday we will have good relations with Russia again." Leon James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter S. and his lover, Agent Lisa Page, more, all disgraced and or fired and caught in the act. These are just some of the losers that try to do a number on your president. Part of the witch hunt. Remember the insurance policy? This is it. Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani had earlier dismissed the alleged investigation as baseless, pointing out that no evidence has publicly emerged in the 20 months since to support the idea that Trump is a secret Russian agent. The fact that it goes back a year and a half and nothing came of it that showed a breach of national security means they found nothing, Giuliani told The Times. Trump fired Comey on May 9, 2017, citing a letter from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein that sharply criticized Comey's handling of the Hillary Clinton email investigation. However, sources tell The Times that two events raised alarm at the FBI that Trump had fired Comey in an attempt to stifle their investigation into possible Russia election meddling. The first was a draft of the letter Trump wanted to send Comey informing him of the firing, which The Times reports mentioned the Russia investigation. The draft was never sent, after Rosenstein purportedly urged Trump to drop mention of Russia in the letter. The final version of the letter that was sent, and made public, does mention the investigation obliquely, thanking Comey for informing me, on 3 separate occasions, that I am not under investigation. The second issue that reportedly concerned the FBI was Trump's May 11, 2017 interview with NBC News, in which Les Holt pressed him on the timing of the firing. "I was going to fire Comey, there was no good time to do it," Trump said. "And in fact, when I decided to just do it, I said to myself, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story. It's an excuse by the Democrats for having lost an election that they should have won, Trump continued. Trump's detractors have taken this statement as proof that he fired Comey out of anger over the Russia investigation. However, the president's supporters have said that he was indicating that he knew the timing of the firing might look bad, but decided to move forward with it anyhow because there was nothing behind the Russian collusion allegations. Also fueling the FBI's concerns was Christopher Steele's dirty dossier of unsubstantiated allegations, which had been funded by Democrats but at that point was justifying probes across the Justice Department. In response to the events, according to The Times, the FBI began investigating whether Trump was a secret Russian agent. The investigation was one part criminal, into possible obstruction of justice, and one part counterintelligence, looking into possible national security concerns, The Times reports. Comey's firing led Rosenstein, who had recommended the move, to appoint special counsel Robert Mueller to investigate any links or coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. 20 months later, the Mueller probe is yet to publicly produce evidence of a conspiracy to tamper with the election. There are reports that the special counsel's probe could wrap